What exactly is a credit union, and what does it mean to you? Here in the studio to talk about that and why it's important is Greg Michlig, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the New Jersey Credit Union League. Good to see you, Greg.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Credit Union League, what is it?
Well, we at the League actually represent roughly 70% of the credit unions here in New Jersey. There are 197 credit unions in New Jersey right now, and we have affiliated credit unions through about 135 of those credit unions.
But what's
right
a credit union?
A credit union in particular is a not-for-profit financial institution. So it's an organization where you join as a member of the credit union, and then you are an owner in that credit union.
Someone says, oh, you're a bank. You say?
We say, no, we are not. we are a financial services cooperative. And the big difference there is really who are you paying at the end of the day. And in a credit union, because you are an owner in that credit union as a member, you're paying yourself. Everything that comes out of the credit union from a profit environment goes back into the credit union and back out to the members in terms of better rates, fewer fees, lower fees, and that's the primary driving force behind the cooperative nature of credit unions.
So that's interesting. So someone's looking for a loan.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking to one of your colleagues recently, and they were talking about a certain community in Newark where they're having a particularly difficult time getting loans from certain, say, traditional organizations, financial institutions, and that there are certain credit unions that are targeting this community and focusing on providing loans there. Why would that be a situation in this particular community where some of those folks would have a more difficult time in a more traditional market, but would have more access in a credit union? I'm not following that.
Well, credit unions traditionally have been set up to serve those in underserved areas, those who may not have access to financial services in a traditional sense. And with that, there is I guess a focus on making sure that credit unions are available to those who are in need. And in terms, they also take the time to listen to their stories. So
yeah, but devil's advocate, how do you still have to, in my mind, make money.
Absolutely.
You still have to stay in business. How do you do that if you're going, I'm not saying going after, but serving people who otherwise are not getting taken in by others who are making a profit?
Because at the end of the day, the credit unions are not paying out to a group of shareholders. They're not driving profits for that purpose. Instead, they're turning around and they're working on behalf of their members. So they're having the conversations with those members to make sure that a credit score doesn't tell you everything. So by having that conversation with the member or the potential member, they're able to evaluate their needs and better serve them specifically in a way that will leverage their situation more effectively for their own needs as opposed to just for the needs of the financial institution.
How did you get into this whole thing?
How did I get into this?
Because I know you're not born and raised in New Jersey. When we first met, you told me you're from Wisconsin?
Yes, yes.
And were you involved in this world out there?
I've been in the credit union industry. Many people say the credit union movement. It's a cooperative movement.
Is it a movement?
Yes. It is in many ways. It continues to grow. It continues to be something that's working on behalf of its members in a way that we feel is a movement. It's a growing movement, growing industry, still very small when you compare it to other financial institutions throughout the United States. Right now, credit unions in New Jersey hold about 4% of the deposits. So it's a very small segment, but we're trying to make sure that people understand the message of credit unions and understand what credit unions can do for them individually so that we can continue to grow and so that the movement continues to grow.
And so it's so interesting when you talk about the subprime situation that happened a few years back, which obviously changed the economic landscape in this country and also brought into our vernacular the whole concept of subprime. When I say subprime, you say?
I say that during that time, even despite everything that went on, credit unions continued to lend. And there is statistical information available that will show you that during the period where financial institutions struggled due to subprime lending and the struggles that took place, credit unions still found a way to lend to their members because in the end, again, it is on behalf of the members that they are doing all of their business. And through that whole environment, people were in need of financial services. And as a cooperative, again, as a member-centric organization, the key there was to find a way to serve your members, and that's what credit unions did.
And even though you come from Green Bay, the Wisconsin area, here in Jersey, the weather a little better here?
It's a little bit better. When we moved, I told my wife we were going to be closer to beaches and the weather was going to be warmer, and so far that's all held true, and everyone's happy to be here.
We should also say we're doing this program in the middle of the winter, going into 2014. Greg, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this. It'll get warmer.
Yeah.